Well, hello. So, much as I swear off buying more board games, here we are with three board games, all strategy games. This one's very well known, very popular. These two never heard of, but you're going to find out why I picked them up shortly. So let's start with the smaller one and then work into these gargantuan ones. All right, so we have either Catan or Catan. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, Ultra popular strategy uh, trading game. I don't even know how many versions of this exist. It's quite extensive. It's been around a long time. I grab any of these I see in the wild because they all sell. So when we talk about reselling board games, the three things we want are games that are collectible, games that are playable, and games that are parts for the other two. So if you find a collectible game that you can get cheaply that you know is beat up, you can sometimes make money off it. Parts for the games that are playable. But yeah, this probably falls into both categories. Playable games are like strategy games people really get into, or very simple games like Sorry is a game that you can sell pretty easily because anybody can play it. And the example I use for reselling board games is Monopoly versus Sorry, where you might think Monopoly would sell really well comparatively, but it does not because Monopoly has a limited audience. You have to have people that can read. It's a little more complicated. Games like Sorry, super easy. Grandmas can play it with their grandkids and all that. So we have the Catan Extension. I like grabbing, I've sold a few of these. I grab them because I don't really have to package this. I can just throw this in a bubble mailer. Not only makes it cheaper for my customers, but it makes my life a little easier. So I'm just going to see what's in here. I have never actually played this game. Sounds like something I'd be into, but right now my kids are 3 and 5, so this is a bit beyond them. In the coming years, we'll probably play some of these games, try them out when I do get them. I've had games come through the door that I would have liked to certainly try out. So, got a booklet here. So, game components, we have 11 terrain hexes. I'm guessing these are hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Blank, I guess, is nothing. Yeah, let's go with that. 11 tree hexes and a blank guy. 4 small frame pieces. 2 plain shore, 1 generic, and a harbor. So that would be these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 sets of wooden playing pieces. 10 settlements. Cities. Roads. So I have brown. Not quite sure what a road would be. 4 brown. 15 brown. Oh. I'm just going to have to pause it and count out everything because this is going to be arduous and we haven't even looked at the ones yet. I'm not looking forward to those in a way, but alright, so when all is said and done, I have everything plus extras. It looks like it includes maybe blanks if you want to make your own pieces or something like that. So you have like blank card, blank tokens. But I got everything it says I should have. The game was punched, but barely ever played, I would say. Should be top value. So, like I said, I grab these all the time because they'll sell, and they'll sell quickly. So the other rule of picking up games is if anybody's name is ever on it, it's always going to be valuable. I don't understand what that's about, but it seems to be true. Anyway, so So I paid $9 for the 3 games we're going to go through. Let's see what this is going for. So 808 Catan Extensions for sale. So mine's open but complete. So new ones are going for like $25. Not sure what year this is. 2020. And it may have been a reproduction. Seems like this would be one of the first things they did before going batshit crazy on all the different ones here. So I got a pre-owned for $26. A lot of people are selling the new one for that though. 5th edition. Does this have an edition on it? That's important. It doesn't say, as far as I can see, liner notes, that's the terminology. Yeah, I have no idea. Doesn't tell me. Box looks the same as everybody else's. Let's go to sold here and get an idea. So with discounts and everything, I paid like less than $2 for this. So I'm free to sell it for quite cheaply. So 26 brand new seems to be the going price. There's a pre-owned for 18. So pre-owned completed 18, I think makes plenty of sense. Just gotta get a weight on it real quick. It's not too bad. 14, so it'll be under a pound package. I don't have to go crazy on the packaging. This is something people buy to play. I'm not too concerned sending it out. Just a bubble mailer should be fine. If not, you give a refund. I've only ever had one person get something that was broken in 1,000 plus sales. So that person was pretty upset. But the thing is, if I just refund you $8 versus paying like $300 a year in additional shipping and packaging, it really doesn't make any sense to heavily package everything I send out. I'll take the gripe to save $300. Yeah, so we'll do 18 on this. I could get more, but I don't. You know, I've already gone over my theoretical board game limit right now. Right, I like to have less than 3 piles of board games, and I'm dangerously close to having to move some stuff around. So we'll do 18. Shipping on it's going to be about $6. So it'll be somewhere in there. So we already broke even, and we haven't gotten into the big ones yet. All right, so I got 2 games in the Axis and Allies brand. I got Europe 1940 and Pacific 1940 second edition. So I could never seen this before. So one of the rules of board games is if it has a particular cover on the box, and I cannot show it on camera, but it's like almost like a patterned printout. It's usually a small production game, and these tend to be worth more. It's got the dude's name on it, like I said. I'm not looking forward to counting out 610 plus pieces to make sure it's all here, but it was in really good shape. I pulled up the numbers on it, and it sells for a staggering amount of money. Oh, it's a Hasbro game. That's odd. It seems like a small production game. May have been a very limited run. I don't know anything about it. 2021, it says. So I used a bunch of coupons and discounts and stuff. It was $4, but I got everything for $9 as stated. So I'll do my tape trick again. If you ever have to get masking or packaging tape off of a box and you don't want to ruin the box, which comes up in board games quite a bit. You buy them used, so you can see a little better. But you pull the tape completely away from itself because it like rolls the tape off the box, and then just when you get to the end, you kind of wiggle it a little bit until you get it off the edge there. And then repeat, and just make sure you don't rip it at the very end, because it'll come off kind of quick. I ruined a lot of board games before I learned this, because when you buy these at thrift shops, they always tape the box shut just so people don't steal out of it, or just so they don't like dump the whole thing out back and never figure out all the pieces. But I've ripped some really nice vintage games this way before I figured out how to get the tape off. What I didn't notice is there's some scuffing here. Kind of just blended into the box, but that may be a problem. It looks like this is an imported game. Hasbro must have produced it, but it's Avalon Hill is the maker. That's why it seems like a indie production. All right. So when I get these, my hope is always that nobody ever played it. That comes up a lot in games like this. People buy them with the idea they're going to have a game night or something, and it just, you know, never comes through, and then they never even unpack the thing. And you pull it out, it's unpunched and beautiful. It's just a lot of stuff. Look at this rule book. Some of these board games get into like the Dungeons and Dragons territory of like, you gotta know this. Like, this is not even remotely casual. Big book. Order of play. All the vehicles. This is land, sea, and air. Like, this is brutal. Interesting. The board is like 4 feet wide or something. It's a world war, so it's the entire planet. It looks good. Other board. And then we got all the cards. I'm assuming it's cards. Maybe some tokens. I'll set all this aside. So, United States, 35 pieces. France, 17. Got some tokens. We got 600 models for me to count. So, I'll go ahead and pause it. Just want to take a break from counting to show you how wildly intricate this game is. These are 6 different kinds of ships. And while you got the aircraft carrier, which is kind of obvious, you got all these little ones, and there's the only difference is what's on the deck of the ship. So yeah, I'm going to be counting for a while. I will keep a rough count and let you know how long it took to count 600 plus figures. So it only took me 25 minutes to count the figures. Everything else, I think I'm missing 1 out of the 620 pieces. And that's just the figures that's 620. Oh, you know what? 610. 5 extra. You know what? I'm just going to say the game's complete. because I'm not recounting it. I thought it was a 610 plus playing pieces. No, there's like 200 something tokens too. So over that, almost 1,000 pieces in this game. I'm not recounting this. That's enough time out of my life. So I grabbed it for a reason, and that reason is profitability. So we're going to see what we can get out of this. We've got brand new and pre-owned. So we're looking at about $70. We got somebody doing bids, which I don't care about. 70. Shipping is going to be substantial. This is a heavy box, so I am going to bill for shipping. I just got to figure out what my baseline is. So 70 looks like it's going to be a good asking price. Check our sold listings. 25 sold. This one was 66. Brand new, but still 66. 55. But I didn't see any cheaper than 70. So can I go 60? Or do people wait to see one that pops up more in a price point that they want to pay? Because some are going for 70. Now I'm noticing most of these are... Let's look at this. Europe and Pacific. Both first and second editions. So I thought of doing that where I would combine both into one listing. But I kind of feel like the price point is going to make this difficult for somebody. And I'm probably better off just doing it individually. But these are going for $70 in general, even the pre-owned ones. So I'm going to do... All right, let's get an idea on shipping here. This is the funnest part of reselling, obviously. You've got 19, because you got to give yourself a little wiggle room with the box, or else you get billed for it. 19, 13, 4. And let's get some poundage. $5.12, so the box is going to be almost a pound itself. So we're looking at $6.12. I shall calculate that. All right, so after crunching numbers, cheapest shipping for somebody is going to be $12, which is actually much more reasonable than I thought. And that goes up to 25 if it's somebody like Oregon. There's enough of these out there where I think I'm going to catch somebody local, and they're going to pick this because the price point is going to be good. So I'm going to be charging $50. So with shipping, I'm 8 under everybody else if somebody's local to me. And considering I paid like $3 for it, I'm pretty good with that. And the shipping eats up the fee as well, for the most part. So after counting that, I have a whole other one to look at. All right, so the companion is the Pacific Theater, and it says you could actually put these games together and play them simultaneously. The board, if you did that, is 6 feet. That's a pretty substantial board game. And I can't even, like, Monopoly takes like 5 hours. How long does resolving World War II take? You know, Risk was a world war, but it was set up to be resolved pretty quickly. This one, I don't think so. I think this would be a multi-week game night kind of thing. Some people are down for that. I am not said people at this point in my life. You know, kind of interesting. I was talking to the thrift shop guy. I try to, I try to be nice to everybody in general in life, but the thrift shop people have some wiggle room with things they can do, and if you're kind to them and they remember you at times, they will cut you deals, and they will, you know, generally enjoy your company if you're kind to them anyways. But so we're talking about World War II. My grandfather on my mother's side actually served in both theaters. He flew during D-Day, got shot down. He broke both of his legs in the crash landing. Went back to the U.S., recuperated, and by then they didn't need him in Europe anymore. He ended up flying supply planes over the Himalayas in the Pacific Theater during the island jumping phase. Because that was his thing, is like flying huge planes. So that was kind of interesting talking about that. I'm from the generation where everybody's grandpa was in World War II. Like, it would be weird if they weren't. So, kind of strange that my kids will grow up and those people are all dying rapidly. So, this one only has 500 pieces. Quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to count them. Because I'd like to go to bed at some point tonight. So we have many of the same pieces as the other one. This one doesn't appear to have a research and development component like the other one did. That may be because that was very much the US versus Germany and the race for the bomb kind of thing. I didn't really look at what it entailed. Cardboard's falling over. Alright, so we got Japan, UK, and ZAC. Not sure who that is offhand. That might be Australia. China, and US. I wonder if they have anything interesting in Japan. They use the imperial flag. It's pretty cool. Oh, I turned off my monitor. Everything moved on me. They use the imperial flag on those. We got aircraft carriers. They even put detail into like what kind of field pieces they had. Put a lot of work into this. A lot of Japanese figures. I'm just going to assume it's all there. UK. Not quite as many, but that makes sense. Not sure what the UK did Pacific Theater wise. Might have been mostly naval. I know a bit about World War II, but I'm not as much of a buff as a lot of people. This is going to be Australia, New South Wales, Malay, New Zealand, Queensland. Okay. I think Australia's big thing during the war is they're really good at, well, besides living in like tough climates, I think they're really awesome civil engineers. Because Australia was an immense civil engineering feat to even make it livable and connect cities and whatnot. But I think that's what they did a lot of, was prepping like landing zones and all kinds of stuff like that. US is same stuff as the other game. We got China, Taiwan. That's where the dice are and all that. The tokens. Very few figures in this one. All infantry, so I don't know what the story is with that. I'm not familiar with China in World War II. I know like the Gurkhas, but those are Indian. I don't know. Their portion, they were apparently infantry, is what this box is telling me. Yeah. So we're just going to assume this is all here, because I think it's all here. Get a look at this. Just gonna tell a quick story about my grandpa. I never met him. He died when my mom was 19. He was from a generation where like the Ford Model A and afterwards, you were very much in charge of your own car. Like you tuned up your own car, you did all your maintenance on your car. Mechanics were few and far between and too expensive. So my dad described him as like a ridiculously talented mechanic. Like he had a great ear for things and a great mind for things. So when he was doing the supply runs in the Pacific, he was, you didn't have your own plane. You just got on a plane. And there was a particular plane he didn't like. And they were getting ready to go, and he went and saw that it was his plane. And he told the mechanic, like, I don't like the noise this engine's making. And the thing with engines on these planes doing this run is you're going over the Himalayas. You can't crash land. You're going to hit a mountain. That's all there is. And there was a major nearby and said, like, you know what? You've lost your mind. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fly the plane. And he got in, and no one ever saw him again. The plane went down somewhere because my grandpa was right. There was something wrong with that engine. So, anywho, is there anything wrong with this price? Probably not. 61 for sale. And it's looking about the same price point, a little less. It's probably not as desirable. You'd really have to be into the entirety of World War II because the Pacific was just not as attractive, as far as like how romanticized the war has become and all the movies that came out. Not to say it was ignored, but it just wasn't as exciting as fighting Nazis. So, looking like 60, 65. And some of these go way up, but I'm guessing we're going to be a little bit lighter than the other one, desirability-wise. Got 32 sold. So, brand new for 80. A lot of parts, which is odd. And so, I mean, that's a thing, is a game this heavy. If there was something wrong with it, I could have just parted it out and made a good chunk of money. And it's a lot easier to move parts because people are more willing to spend on them. But this was bids for 50. That's going to be the absolute lowest. Bids again for 55. 72. So I think I'm actually just going to sell it for the same. 50 and shipping. Shipping should be exactly the same, or at least not far off. The last one was 512. This is 5.8. I guess the 100 less pieces equated to that. So we will do 50 plus the same shipping. That puts us at a pretty good day. So I like to get at least 5 times on board games because they take up space and I gotta box them, but we definitely did that. So if you like reseller content, board game content, strategy content, World War II content, rambling about Dead War Heroes content, like, subscribe, comment. That's always very helpful. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you next time.